There are moments in life that completely change your path. For me, those moments came when I lost my job, not once, but twice. The truth is, at the time, it felt like everything was falling apart. But looking back, these were the turning points that pushed me to take control back of my career. In 2009, during the financial crisis, that's when I lost my first job. Like so many others, I had no idea that this was coming. When I think about it, it felt like the ground had been pulled under me. I was scared and unsure of what was going to happen next. When I look back, what I learned from that experience is that nothing in life is guaranteed. I was the only Spanish speaking in that company, and I thought that it was not going to happen to me. But I remember I was in my cubicle and the director of the department came to me and asked me to come with him. I just knew what was going to happen. The first thing I did when I saw him was smiled. And it was 4:00 in the afternoon, and the department and the head of the department came over to my cubicle, and he asked me, "Alec, could you come with me?" In that moment, I knew what was going to happen next. And my reply was, "Oh no, why?" And he just looked at me and said, "I'm so sorry, Ali." So I walked with him and we went to the HR office and they explained the next steps. In my mind, I just didn't know why it was happening to me. I thought I was good at my job, but the truth is, when I look back, I know that I was not there, but it hit me hard. The truth is that I had been relying on external factors for my security, and that moment showed me how fragile it could be. So during the next months of my unemployment, I looked into different things I could do. Backup plan. I actually even took bartending classes, all with the idea that if this happened to me again, I had a backup plan. I knew exactly what I could do in the meantime until I found a more secure job. I also read a lot of personal development stories, but nothing really clicked at the time. In a way, I became a victim of the situation, but that didn't stop me. I knew that I couldn't just lay around and not take action. A mentor me and his advice for a very long time. Remember I said, it didn't happen only once, it happened twice in my lifetime? Well, fast forward to 2020, the pandemic hit. And I wasn't the only one that was going through this. There were a lot of people that were going through this. But this time I was at a crossroads. This time, my employer gave me two options. When I think back of my situation at the company and the organization and my relationship with everyone there, it was positive in a way, but the truth, I wasn't happy. I wasn't really doing what I loved. I felt that my growth was stuck. I was stuck in my growth. When I think back to that situation and being at home and everyone going through this scary period, I remember that I actually was enjoying being at home. But the only thing that I was not happy about was my situation at work. Every day I was waking up dreading having to sit in front of a computer, laptop, without really anything to do. Being in a boutique agency where we had a few clients, we didn't have much work for us, simply because those clients didn't know what was happening either. The ones that I was managing also had to stop all their advertising because their sales was based on the people that were going to conferences. So they decided that they had to stop or pause everything that they were doing at the time. That meant that my workload was cut short. So I was being proactive. I wanted to do more so that my boss would see that I was wanting to help the organization in many ways, being that I was getting paid for work. And so I wrote him a letter with a proposal of what I could do, and he came back with a different proposal, and he pretty much said, "You're not good enough." That's what I read between the lines. "You're not good enough." And that really hurt me. After dedicating my time to him, after really focusing on things that I could do within the organization, the fact that he told me that I was not good enough, it just triggered me. And then he kept on explaining how he thought and what were my options. But after that, and remembering how toxic the environment was, because he had these ups and downs and he could tell you what he felt and he could pretty much say that you suck, I didn't want to be there. I already knew enough that in order for my happiness, I had to be in a place where I was passionate about, and I had lost passion. So that's when I decided that I need to take control of my career. I couldn't do this anymore. So I told him, thank you, but basically part ways. From that experience, I learned that my health was important. And I actually was sick for the few weeks back. And well, I actually had COVID, but I didn't know at the time that that was COVID. What I learned from there is that my health was important. I actually was sick for a few weeks before this happened. And I still would stand up and sit by my desk to see what I could do to be able to give back to the organization that was paying me. I was stressed because I knew how he was going to feel if he didn't see that I was cooperating. And I was stressed out with the situation overall because we were at home with the kids and I didn't know what we were going to be doing. But a few years back, I started my whole personal development journey. And I had been reading and studying and actually had a mentor called Brock Proctor. And he was the one who guided me through this whole situation. And he reminded me that my happiness was the most important. Sometimes we have to take risk regardless of the outcome. We can't think of the how. We have to think of what is it that we want to achieve. And that stuck with me. That experience gave me the chance to get back with myself, to get back with my studies, to do what I loved. So that was the time when I took back my life and I started focusing again on myself, on spending time with my family, on doing the things that I truly love. I actually started meditating too, because I knew that my mindset, I had to strengthen my mindset in order to accomplish the things that I want to accomplish in life. If it wasn't for those two experiences of being let go, I would not be where I am. And I know after that experience, I decided that no matter what job I do, the moment that I start feeling unhappy, that's the moment that I need to take back control of what is it that I truly want and go after. So after that experience, 8 months later, I got a different job in an agency and I was working remotely, which is what I wanted. And I was getting paid way much better than the last place that I was in. And I decided this is the place where I am going to learn more about working for a larger company and getting all these other skills. After those experiences, I knew that I had to take control of my career. I knew that in order for me to be happy, I have to be doing something that I truly love. In order for me to regain back what I had lost in those two experiences was to really set myself a really clear idea of what is it that I wanted to accomplish. And that's when I decided that I am going to go all in my coaching. Yes, I may have to work full-time for someone else, which is what I've been doing, but I'm not going to lose track of what is it that makes me happy. Because in the long run, based on the experiences I've had, nothing in life is guaranteed. You know, I could work at a corporate job for an amazing company, but my job is never guaranteed. So I decided to take the steps to make sure that I start creating my financial freedom and growing my coaching and learning from the company, because you learn a lot while you're working for somebody else. And I decided that in order for me to be able to accomplish both is to work. So one thing that I've learned through these years, through these experiences I've had in being laid off in 2009 and being given an option in 2020 is that you have to really focus on growing your mindset. You really have to be closer to who you really are and not lose track of that. When I think of those experiences back, I was not happy. I complained a lot in both jobs because I was not where I wanted to be. I was not doing work that excited me. The environment in both of them was a little toxic, and I didn't want to be surrounded by that. So I made it super clear what is it that I want in my life, because life is too short. So if you're going through this, just know that sometimes we go through a storm and we may not know exactly when the storm will end, but the key is that we focus on growing, that we focus on our personal development. Bob Proctor has always said that you are the one who create your results. And I know that those two options happen because I call them unconsciously, even though it hurts to say this, but it is true. So make sure that you're growing, that you're reading, that you're studying, that you have a mentor who's helping you out. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. So don't lose hope. Just make sure that you keep going and keep focusing on what is it that you want. Really think about the lessons that we learned today. Taking control of your career and life, because these are the key to unlocking a fulfilling life. I know it's not easy, but it's truly worth it. So the biggest takeaway in this is that you do have control, you do have choices. So it is up to you to make the difference. If you're not happy where you are, make sure you start questioning what is it that you would love to do and have the courage to do it. Look, I did it. I took the risk back in 2020. I knew again, because I knew that I could do other things besides going to a corporate job. So just know that it is up to you. If you're not happy, question that.